Hey guys, it's me, Shima Goodness, here, about to show you this video, tell you this video about who I think are today's great leaders. And this is the top 20. So here's to start off. First, I like to give honor to the creator of life and all the heavenly hosts. Myself for having the gumption to make this video. My maternal great-granddaddy, Jonas Wilkes. Maternal great-grandmother, Alina Wilkes. Maternal grandfather, Thomas Johnson. Paternal grandfather, Jimmy Lee Edwards. My Aunt Yvonne. My Uncle Timothy, aka T-Baby. My cousin Phyllis, Chubb. My cousin PJ's daughter, Jasmine. I think her name is Jasmine. I haven't seen her since she was like really, really young. But she just passed away, so may she rest in peace. And I just keep her, her in my heart as a family through blood. And my heart goes out to her immediate family, my cousin PJ, my cousin Ray Ray, PJ's wife, and Pop and Aunt Mamie. This also goes out to Icky Man and those fallen who didn't come to mind but still rest in my heart. But the purpose of this video is to highlight the people who have influenced me in such a way and that opened my eyes to this world in which they call the conscious community or Afrocentrics or whatever you want to call this world of people who have such a refreshing impression on others, including myself. And this is a list in order of how influential their teachings have been to me personally. So my level of consciousness is dependent upon my level of intelligence, my level of understanding, and the people who I choose to listen to and influence my thoughts. I'd like to give an honorable mention to Sinetter with Sinetter TV because he brings a lot of people together within the so-called conscious community. Dr. Layla Africa, he's really good with like health and teaches you how to be healthy. Tariq Nasheed, he's a mover and shaker that's coming up from my observation. Ali Muhammad is really, really smart. He's a really good natural scientist. Zaza Ali, she's really down to earth, and I really, don't know much about her, but I've heard her on like radio shows with Professor Griff, and she's really smart and she has a lot to offer, so people should really listen to her. Zaza Ali, I think it's Z Ali 2012 on YouTube. Okay, we're gonna start off with number 20. Sherazad Ali. Hope I said her name right. But she was born April 27, 1954 in Atlanta, Georgia. She was raised in Cincinnati. She's authored several books, including a 180-page, $10 self-published paperback called The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. Her stories about the book appeared in Los Angeles Times, New York Times, Washington Post, Newsday, and Newsweek. She was on Tony Brown's Journal. She was on the Sally Jesse Raphael Show. She was on Phil Donahue's show, Geraldo. They even ridiculed her on In Living Color, but there's another story behind that. But we all know, people who are listening to me, who are conscious enough, we know what went on with that. But she's a really influential person, and I can relate to her a lot in her views. Okay, number 19, the 13th son. He calls himself, or is, and see, this is like, I didn't really like find a lot of biography on a lot of people through my Google search. So a lot of the information that I'm giving is based off what I found and compiled within the time. Okay, he's the 9th son born, and the 13th child born into an apocalyptic family via Sirius Sun C dark matter womb. The 13th son of Big Ama Mama Universe, here to raise her children to a higher conscious via the 13th heavens. He also sells Heal Thyself 360 on the 13thson.com. And he's really funny. I don't know if he's trying to be sometimes, but even he laughs. So, he's really funny, and he really gives you a lot of insight from what he feels he's getting from the ancestors. So, not that scholarly if you want to use being a scholar as a factor in your future. But if you don't, then hey, But he's really cool. And he has a lot of insight. Number 18, Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi, and I didn't get a biography about him. I didn't have time. But from what I know, Dr. Sebi is, he's cured cancer. He's cured diabetes, schizophrenia, and a host of other diseases. He's done this with natural foods. He's got patents. He won his right in court to have a cure, which is rare. If you have any type of ailment in your body, I suggest you contact Dr. Sebi. He has an office in California and he has an office in Honduras. But I think his website is drsebiproducts.com. And some videos are about him on YouTube. And you can find out about his life. And you would be inspired. Okay, number 17. Professor Griff. Born as Richard Griffin, August 1st, 1960. He is an American rapper, spoken word artist, and lecturer. He was a member of the hip-hop group Public Enemy and the head of security of the First World. Professor Griff now does lectures on various websites, but the one that that I have solely seen him on was YouTube. But some of the YouTube videos are like copies from other websites that they got. So I don't know which ones. But Professor Griff has a lot of insight on the powers that be, and he can tell you a lot about various subjects from religion to politics, economics, military. So you should listen. And he's really, really like down to earth, and he'll talk to you like if you're a man, he'll talk to you like a man. From what I see from his videos, which keep in mind that I have this insight to decipher things and people. So, and my heart tells me that, he's a really down to earth guy, even though I've never met him. Okay. Number 16, King Noble. Okay. King Noble, which I've recently started watching him. I've seen him a couple of times in the last couple of years on videos. And He's more of a revolutionary. He's more of a, if you're the type of person that would suit good for military, he would be in the trenches with you. So in our community, we really need a vast array of people in our community so that we would maintain self-sufficiency. And we need that as a foundation if we're going to build. Okay. So King Noble, he has a lot of, and he's serious. He's very serious. He doesn't really joke around. So if you're a serious type of person and you don't like to joke around, but you still want to get this knowledge, and you still want to help contribute to our community, listen to King Noble. He's on YouTube. I think his YouTube page is King Noble. Or you could just type him in YouTube and he'll pop up. Number 15 on my countdown is Queen Valara Renita El Hari Bey. And she's a very special lady. This queen is actually a queen and a Moorish master teacher. Her lectures are some of the best lessons anyone can receive on our history, culture, courtroom conduct, law, and sovereignty, and so much more. She's a must-have in your collection of conscious knowledge. This will teach you so much more about the structure of the government and the proper status. This queen teaches on sovereignty and our politically correct and exact status on the said lands of Americas. She's a queen by political and sovereign status, and she's a master teacher of law and history. So check her out. Queen Valara. I think I first saw her first video about right at 2 years ago. And I was amazed by some of the things that she was saying. And she was so smart and she was so knowledgeable of the law that it was like, wow. This queen has it going on. So if you want to know more about law, if you're an argumentative type person, you should listen to this queen. Number 14 on my countdown is Dick Gregory. He was born Richard Claxton on October the 12th, 1932. He's an American comedian, social activist, social critic, writer, entrepreneur, and conspiracy theorist. So they say. Mr. Dick Gregory is an influential American comedian who has used his performance skills to convey both white and black audiences, his political message on civil rights. His social satire helped change the way white Americans perceive black American comedians since he first performed in public. So Dick Gregory, he's very influential as a comedian. He's very funny, but there's a lot of truth in what he says. And he's an elder, so I had to throw him in there. And he's very wise. So if you want to get some wisdom and laugh at the same time, I suggest looking up Dick Gregory. You can find a lot of his videos on YouTube. Number 13 on my countdown is Ra-Imhotep. Ra-Imhotep is an astrologer. He is an astrologer, a musician, a raw food revolutionist, herbalist, writer. He writes ebooks from his website called 13 Science Astrology. I think he's from Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. But he has a lot of information about the occult sciences, and I actually got a reading from him, an astrology reading from him a couple of months back, and it was like this thick. Like it was like when I printed it out, I was like, dang, I didn't know I was gonna use that much ink. And it was like this thick. And it was very detailed. And he uses he doesn't use the 12 signs like in Western astrology. He uses the 13 signs, which is more Eastern. And the 13th sign is Ophiuchus, which I just happen to be Ophiuchus. But yeah, he's really good. And I started listening to his videos about 2 years ago. And he has a lot of out there information. So if you're on the eclectic side, you would like to listen to him. And his readings, I think I paid $99.99 for his astrology reading, and it was on point. Like it was really on point about my life, and I keep it stored away in a nice little secret area so that people can be able to get to it and learn all my information about me. But yeah, he's really good. Okay, number 12. We're getting closer. Number 12 on my countdown is Shaka-Ndugu-KMT, the General. Of the Black Power Cartel. He's from Detroit. I don't know if he still does this or not, but he used to host trips to Egypt. He's been educated under Dr. Ben Johannesson. He's been to Egypt, like, I know, about 3 times. He's been to Mexico. He's traveled the world. He is very scholarly, and he's very accurate in his assertions. But now, let me tell you something about Steady. If you want to get fired up, just listen to one of his lectures, because he will get you riled. Like, SETI is like, OMG, like that is my nigga. I love Mr. SETI. And when you listen to him, it's like, oh, damn, he sure is right. He sure right. So, Shaka-Ndugu-KMT, you can find a lot of his videos on YouTube, and I think Underground Railroad, blackundergroundrailroad.net. Don't quote me on that. But Shaka-Ndugu-KMT, he's like, has powerful lectures. You just have to hear it for yourself. And number 11 on the list is his buddy, Brother Shaka-Ndugu-KMT. Ankh, aka the God Killer, aka the real black atheist. He is a scholar as well, just like SETI. He has a TV show in Atlanta called The Real Black Atheist, which he when people ask him, why do you call yourself an atheist? And I believe like the answer I got is for like the shock value. For people to think like, what does atheist mean? And he'll tell you what the origin of the word atheist means, which is from atheos, which means you don't go along with the God of the state, which is like Greek. It's Greek. So it's a Latin word, so Roman and Greek, I guess. So Shaka-Ndugu-KMT is really knowledgeable, and he can give you a lot of information about history and artifacts. So he's a scholar in that light. So you want to learn about history, world history, and artifacts? Check out your brother Shaka-Ndugu-KMT. Okay, guys, number 10 on my countdown is Brother Polite. I found him on YouTube about a year ago. He's really cool. His name is Michael Nowak, culturally known as Nisut Amen-Re Sen Atun-Re, and he is young and successful entrepreneur. He's 27 years old. He owns 2 bookstores, an alkaline restaurant. He's the founder of the Golden Ankh Global Foundation, publisher of Golden Ankh newspapers. He has a company called New Covenant, which is like shows people how to buy real estate. He sells real estate. He has, I think, 3 wives and 5 kids. Yeah. But listen, check this out though. When you listen to him, this brother is smart. So out of my lineup, I call him the scientist, because he can break everything down to the lowest common denominator as well, like molecules, and like he's super smart. He speaks probably like 4 languages. He's written probably about 70 some odd books. He used to be in a gang, but now he's a spiritual leader and healer as well as scientist. So yeah, this brother is on point. And you may not agree with some of his views, but you gotta give it to him. The brother makes sense. So if you want to learn more about like science, real estate, sovereignty, languages, read some of his books, then you can look him up on newcovenant.com. He's on Facebook, New Covenant. And you could just type him in Google and you'll find like a lot of his videos. And he hangs around Sanetter, who is the guy that puts together all these different peoples for the debates that they have, the conscious debates. So yeah. Number 9 on my list, Ray Hagen. Ray Hagen is on my list because I'm thinking in terms of if someone were in a situation like me and they went from being Christian but just wondering more information about Christianity and why it is the way it is, why the people are the way they are, why the system is the way it is, and just having doubts and just wondering what's going on with this religion that I was brought up in. Well, go listen to Ray Hagen because he can break it down historically. He used to be a police officer, and a lot of people hate on him because of that, because like once you're a police officer, you take an oath to the KKK. Yeah. The Scottish Rites are the ones that founded the KKK, and the Scottish Rites are the one that founded the police department. So they go hand in hand. They're associated with each other. So some people say that he's an agent because he was a police officer, but I can look at somebody, and from when I see his videos, he really in his heart, he has rebuked that lifestyle. Like, people change. I changed. People change. So a lot of people hate on him because he has the same, and also because like when he talks to you, because he was a preacher for like 27 years. So he was preaching to people for 27 years, and then now he's preaching to people about something different, like totally opposite from what he used to preach. So people kind of, like, how did you do that? And then now you just flip the script. But he'll tell you all about the Pizzo family. He'll tell you all about Serapis. He'll tell you all about like how the Bible was written, how the Bible was compiled together. And he'll tell it to you in a way that's comfortable to somebody who is still believing in this Christianity. So he'll tell you in a way that you're used to listening to, because he sounds just like a preacher. And his format is just like a church, except for the things that he's coming out of his mouth is not things that a normal preacher would say, you know. So he'll tell you, but he just sounds like a preacher because he was a preacher for 27 years. So, you know, if you want that type of format, if you're the type of person that's like, okay, look, you know, I don't know about, because I was feeling the same way. I don't know. All this stuff might be true and dandy, but I still believe in Jesus. I'm still holding on. I'm still going to believe no matter what. You know, I said that for a reason. I said that because I didn't want to go to hell. Just keeping it real. I just didn't want to go to hell. So no matter what it is, I'm just going to hold on tight to this belief, to what the Bible says. But when you realize like who wrote the Bible, how it was written, how it was compiled, why it was compiled, it'll make you look at things in another light. And Ray Hagen will help you do that. So that's why he's number 9 on the list. Okay, number 8 is my guy Shaka-Ndugu. Yes. Shaka-Ndugu has a website called afrostyly.com. He's on YouTube under Afrostyly, AFROSTYLY, Afrostyly Egypt, decoded. Okay, Shaka-Ndugu-KMT is his name, and I love his accent. He's from Haiti, but now he lives in France, and he's a historian. He's an independent scholar and researcher. He's well known for his investigative methods of picking apart deceptive agendas of self-proclaimed prophets, preachers, pastors, ministers, and educated liars. He will call you out. If he finds a lie in what you're saying, he will call you out. He'll tell you, like, listen, no. This is not how it goes. This is how it goes, and this is the historical document to prove it. So you cannot refute that. So yeah, if you want to watch some of his videos, he'll tell you like who's who and what they're talking about. Shaka has been a guest speaker on several familiar blog talk radio shows. He's authored countless segments of expose videos that gives the viewers clear sight of the source of misleading information. Shaka embodies the true spirit of what an Afrocentrist is. He isn't fueled by an overinflated ego and uniquely exhibits integrity. Shaka's discipline to maintain character while others get emotional and melt down is duly noted. So he doesn't follow spookism or magic unless it's supported by science. So Shaka, like, first time I saw his video, it was one of the videos breaking down the meta-netter, which is hieroglyphics. If you don't know what the meta-netter is, he'll tell you what the words mean. He'll break down each word and what it means and where you can find it on the pyramid. So you'll know, like, wait a minute. Okay, that's what that says there. So why is this person saying something else? Well, no, this is what the pyramid says. So you have to go by who wrote it in the first place. And he can show you, like, exactly where things are on the meta-netter, on the pyramid, so that you can understand better, like, from an original source. Then I saw another video of him. He was in the Louvre in France, the Louvre Museum. And he was showing like original artifacts that when you see other people talk about these artifacts, they're talking about it as if they were like white people living in Egypt and things like that. And he's like, no. This is the original document right here. What does this look like to you? And you're like, well, it looks like a black people to me. And he's like in the Louvre with his video camera. So those are the artifacts. Like, you can't get no deeper than artifacts. Like, you can say whatever you want to say. If you don't have the source document artifact, you really ain't talking about nothing. So if you want to verify things of what other people have said from in the conscious community, if you want to verify, you want to confirm your beliefs, Shaka-Ndugu-KMT can help. Yeah, that's my guy. Number 7 on my list is Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson, what I like to say. Dr. Claude Anderson is president of the Harvard Institute. It's a nonprofit, tax-exempt, and nationally recognized black think tank that works to help Black America become self-sufficient and competitive group of people. I listened to an audio. First, I listened to him about a year ago. There was an audio book. No, there was a book that he's written called "Dirty Secrets They Don't Want You to Know About." Little known black dirty secrets. I just heard the tape, and it was like he was reading the book aloud, so it was pretty much like an audio book. And so I listened to the book as he was reading it, and I learned so much about our people since we've been in America. Like, there's so much history that they blocked out since we've been in America. Not just like Martin Luther King. Like, every Black History Month they'll tell you like, okay, Martin Luther King. Okay, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks. But there's so many more people. Like, there's so many more people. And there's a whole nother history from since we've been in America that they don't put in the history books at all. And I think he got another book called Lies My Teacher Told Me. I'm not sure if that's his book or not, but they're similar. So yeah, if you want to know more about like your history since you've been here in America, Claude Anderson could help. And he's an elder, and he's really smart. And he has a lot of information on how to build from here forward, moving forward. Okay, number 6. We're getting closer. Number 6 on my list is Booker T. Coleman, aka Dr. Kaba. Okay, he breaks down the science. Now this is like a subject that's near and dear to my heart. I've always been, since in the last couple of years, I've been fascinated with the Dogon people. It's like they're so mysterious to me. Well, he breaks down the science behind Kemet and the Dogon people and much, much more. So, the Dogons, they told the anthropologists that Sirius was the home of the gods who had made them who they are. Sirius is like a star constellation. Okay, but this was way before telescopes could even see. So they're like, how do these people know about Sirius? And they call it the dog star. So that's why they call it the Dogon people. The doggone people. But the Dogon told the anthropologists that, Sirius was the home of the gods who made them who they are. And they told them that Sirius is the smallest and heaviest thing there is, and that it was white in color. They said it had a companion star invisible to the human eye, but moves around Sirius in an elliptical orbit that took 50 years. They said Sirius was incredibly heavy and that it rotated on its axis, and they further describe it as having a circle of reddish rays around it, like a spot spreading but staying still. And these anthropologists and scientists of European descent were baffled. They were baffled. They were like, how do these people know that? How? Well, because these people are ancient scientists. So, Booker T. Coleman, or Dr. Kaba, it breaks down the sciences, and he tells you about Kemet. He tells you about that particular region of the world, that East African region of the world. So if you like geography and science, then you should listen to Dr. Kaba. And he's an elder, so he's very wise in his information. Okay. Number 5 on my list is My homegirl, Frances Cress Welsing. Okay, Frances Cress Welsing was born March 18, 1935, around the same age as my grandmother. She was born in Chicago, and she's a psychiatrist. She's been practicing in Washington, D.C., and she's noted for the Cress theory of color confrontation, which explores the practice of white supremacy. She's the author of The ISIS Papers, The Keys to Colors in 1991, in which she posits that, okay, thanks, in which she says that white people are genetically defective descendants of albino mutants. Yeah. Yeah, that's what she says, and I kind of believe it. Okay, well, I mean, scientifically, I mean, you have to understand, like, how the world works. Like, everything is mutations. Everything has evolved, you know, from the time that every time the environment changes, people have to adjust their DNA to change to suit the environment. So, if you're in the sun too long, what happens? Well, if you're an African American and you get in the sun too long, you're gonna get black. And I know many of you have heard that term before. Like, I don't want to go in the sun because I'm gonna get black. I'm gonna get black. I'm gonna get black. Okay, so if you get black in the sun, how do you get unblack? Staying out the sun. Duh. And I've had this theory of my own. That I've had for a long time. And I was always thinking that, you know, since the sun gives you vitamin D, and white people weren't in the sun, they didn't have a lot of vitamin D, it may have made them a little crazy, because vitamin D is good for, like, your mental health. Just my thoughts. But anyway, Welsing states that a system is practiced by the global white minority on both conscious and unconscious levels to ensure their genetic survival by any means necessary. According to Welsing, this system attacks people of color, particularly of African descent, in the 9 major areas of people's activity, including economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Welsing believes that it is imperative that people of color, especially of African descent, understand how the system of white supremacy works in order to dismantle it and bring true justice to planet Earth. So yeah, that's my homegirl. She's really smart, and she's a good psychiatrist, and she can break it down for you. So that's why she's number 5. Number 4 on the countdown is Dr. Umar Johnson, aka the Prince of Pan-Africanism. He is a psychologist. So Frances Cress Welsing is a psychiatrist, and Umar Johnson is a psychologist and a certified school psychologist at that. He's based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's a blood relative descendant of Frederick Douglass. And he is raising funds currently to open an academy for young black boys. So go to drumarjohnson.com and you can donate money to help him build his school, because we need to educate ourselves. We can't depend on anybody else to educate us, because they will fuck us over. It's the truth. They'll fuck us over. So he's really good, and I just started listening to him about 3 months ago, to be honest. But I've already seen like 10 of his videos, and I really support this brother. Also, I feel a little bit closer to him since when I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, I went to the African village in Sheldon, South Carolina. And when I was there, they were like, "Oh, how long are you staying?" And I'm like, "Well, we're leaving next week." And they were like, "Oh, because if you would have came on the 1st, Dr. Umar Johnson, have you ever heard of him? I'm like, yeah, I've heard of him. He's like, well, he's going to be there. So when he comes, they're going to have like this big think tank. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know he was down with the voodoo. So, yeah, he went to the African village, so I feel a little bit more connected to him. Even though I don't necessarily practice voodoo, I'm learning about the culture of the Fon people, and I'm learning. To be honest, I don't cancel out anything. I have an open heart and an open mind. So if it's good for me, I'm gonna keep it, and if I feel like it's not good for me, I'm gonna leave it alone. And hey, okay. But Dr. Umar Johnson, he's a good psychologist, and he can tell you about the school system, and he can tell you about how they're trying to get all of our children on Ritalin and antidepressants and trying to put us all in the double doors class, even though like we may not even need to be in those type classes. But he explains, because he works in the school system, how people get paid to put your kids in the retarded class. They get paid for that. So they're going to try to get your child, like, say your child has behavioral problems and things like that. So if you have kids, you really want to listen to him, because he can help you to stay out of that situation, and help your child to grow. Now, let's see. Number 3 on my list is also an elder. Number 3 on my list is Dr. Delbert Blair. Hey, how you doing? Dr. Delbert Blair is a historian, an educator, and master metaphysician. Okay, before I finish, Dr. Delbert Blair has a website that you really need to go to if you want to stay healthy. And the website is themetacenter2.com. And he sells all kind of diodes and electromagnetic things that like suck cancers out your body and sucks like all the toxins out your body that some of the powers that be are trying to put inside your body. Okay, so he's an educator, he's a lecturer, he's a master metaphysician. He gives us insights on presidential elections, black presidents, electromagnetic energy on Earth, and more. He also, he knows a lot about the inner Earth. He knows a lot about what's going on under the Earth, which, that there's been new theories coming up that there's another world, like, inside the Earth. Some people call it Agartha, Shambhala, they have a couple of different names for it. They have like people living there, like different species and things. So he'll give you more information on that. But he's an elder, and he's been doing this for a long time, because I've seen videos of him, and those video cameras had to have been made in like the 60s, 70s. What else? So he's really good with alternative healing. He has a radio show, a blog show, like Wednesdays at 7:30. Where is it? He talks about world events a lot, scriptural prophecies that are occurring right now. And he's the founder of the Meta Center, and it's in Chicago. And he's been doing this for over 50 years. So I gotta put you at the top, Delbert Blair, because you're an elder. The younger guys are coming up, and maybe in about 20 years I might do another one, and the ones that were at the bottom might be at the top. But right now the elders gotta have it. So, which leads me to number 2, Phil Valentine. And listen, okay, first of all, a lot of the people that are on this list have been on the video Hidden Colors. And Hidden Colors is like this compilation of like all these different great leaders talking about, how to raise your consciousness, and talking about us as a people, and how we can thrive again in this world. And it was made by Tariq Nasheed. Okay, so
Hidden Colors. But see, I hadn't even seen Hidden Colors until like last month. It was my first time ever seeing Hidden Colors. Before that, I've never seen it before. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it. But the people that, like, these are people that I've been listening to outside of Hidden Colors. Like, I just started listening more and more, and whoever I latched onto, that's what I started listening to. So, and reading about. So, yeah, so Tariq Nasheed was on point with the Hidden Colors, because the people that he brought together in that first video, those are my peoples. Like, that's my family. Okay, Dr. Phil Valentine. He's a founder and director and pastor of the Temple of the Healing Spirit Self-Healing Education Center, the Institute for Self-Master, and just recently, University of Commission Sciences. He's a certified member of International Association for Counselors and Therapists. He's received his doctorate in Hygienic Health Sciences and Classical Naturopathy from the Life of Science Institute of Texas. Now merged to the American Natural Hygienic Society. He's currently a hygienic science and metaphysical health consultant to doctors and lay practitioners as far away as Azania, South Africa, Canada, Trinidad, Jamaica, England, Ghana, Japan, and the Philippines. So, and he does these lectures. So that's how I started listening to him, was listening to his lectures. And this brother is powerful, and he's very knowledgeable, and he's been in the game since the early 90s. And he has a lot of knowledge on a vast array of subjects, from health, healing, science, world events. Like him and Delbert Blair, they hang together, so you know, they up on them world events. And now he's into like decoding movies, decoding different things. So yeah, Phil Valentine, that's my guy. Number 1 on my list is my favorite one that I like to listen to. And this guy, when I first heard his first video, I was like, and this is what happened. So I was talking to my friend on the phone. And when I was talking to my friend on the phone, we were talking about consciousness, and she lives in North Carolina. Me and her used to like thug it out together back in the day. Like, we used to be like, ooh, some stuff I can't even say on camera. That's how bad we were. Like, we were thugs. Like, we were like little gangsters. And so, both of us are getting older, changing and stuff like that. So we were talking about that, and both of us are like married, have families. So we're just talking about the good old days, and she was saying that, her husband is trying to, get her up on the conscious, level, and trying to awake her mind and things. And she was like, we were struggling it's like we were going through it together. Like, we were both at the same time, like, yeah, but I can't let go of Jesus. I just can't let go of it. That's one thing. Everything that you're saying, it makes sense and everything, but I just can't let go. So we were at that point at the same time. So, and then we opened our eyes around the same time. So, hey, how you doing? So, okay. So we were talking on the phone one day, and she was like, have you heard of Bobby Hemmett? Which is number 1 on the countdown. And I'm like, no, I've never heard of Bobby Hemmett. Who is he? She was like, girl, yeah, you need to listen to him, honey. Listen to Bobby Hemmett, and he'll tell you some stuff. I'm like, I've never heard of this guy, so let me just check it out. So I clicked on, typed in Bobby Hemmett. You looking for something in particular? What kind of earrings? I don't think we don't have no regular ones. Not for regular. Yeah, those for the piercing. Okay. They $20. Yeah, you're really paying for the ear piercing is free. You're just paying for the earring. But they have the little needle on the back too. Hey Jen, how you doing?
Alright, I'm getting ready to be a junior, so I'm probably take some junior pictures with y'all.
Okay.
Later on. Should I get this one? How much is it? The packaging.
I don't know, because I gotta look and see, because it's gonna be a different price this year.
I know I want to do some pictures later on in the year when I get some money.
Just come holler at me.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
got you. I got you, boo.
What's up?
Okay, sorry guys. But Bobby Hemmett, yeah. So when I listened to his first video, I was blown away. And I was hooked. Because he's so down to earth. Like, he'll talk to you like you're his family. Like, he's known you for years. And he's so knowledgeable. But the way he talks is not like, okay, this is my platform. This is my lecture. This is what I'm going to tell you. No, he's like, listen here, that nigga. Let me tell you what this nigga did yesterday. And I'm like, what that nigga did? You know, but he'll tell you, like, he jokes around a lot, but he keeps this core. He'll keep it on track, you know. He talks about the occult sciences. He talks about religion. He talks about a whole lot, like just everything, like just he talks about so much that his lectures last anywhere from 2 to 10 hours. You ever seen a preacher that can talk for 10 hours straight? And he's like, okay, if y'all want to take a break, I'll let y'all take a break. Y'all go ahead and take a 15-minute break and we'll come back. And he'll keep on talking and talking. He never runs out of stuff to talk about. Like, I go to sleep listening to Bobby Hemmett. Like, because all the videos, like, I've already downloaded all the little 20-minute, 30-minute videos, 10-minute videos. I've already downloaded all those. So, the only ones left are the ones that's like 4 hours long, 6 hours long. So, I'll download some of those 6-hour lectures or 4-hour lectures, 5-hour lectures, and I'll play it and I'll go to sleep. Because I don't like to go to sleep listening to foolishness, or I don't like to go to sleep listening, like watching scary movies or different kinds of things. I like to go to sleep listening to something that I think will help me in my life. That way, as I'm asleep, even if I fall asleep on it, my subconscious will still be listening, and it could be feeding my soul as I'm sleeping. So I like to listen to talk. And my husband, it drives him crazy. My stepdaughter, it drives her crazy, because they're like, why do you like to listen to all that talking? I can't help it. It's like my soul needs to be fed with all types of information. And when I'm not getting the information, like if somebody's just doing something foolish, I'm like, you know. So Bobby Hemmett, but you have to understand, y'all, Bobby Hemmett is out there. Like, he's probably somebody you want to listen to after you've heard all the other people. Because if you listen to him first, he may shock you with some of the things, and he may scare you with some of the things that he says. Like, wow, really? Or he may shock you and scare you. So, just telling you that right now. But at the same time, you can tell, like, he's just like average guy. Like, yeah, he'll tell you, look, I'm broke, I need some money. I couldn't pay my bill last month because I'm so busy trying to lecture to this. I'm out of town, so much lecture, I didn't pay my bill. So he needs a lot of support out of most of the other people, especially now, because he had a stroke last year, and that like cut a lot of stuff down to a halt. And that's how he made his living, was doing lectures. So you can like donate to help him out after listening to him. But I'm sure like once you listen to him, you'll fall in love with him. Like, you will. He talks about so many raw spiritual things, decodes mysteries. Like, oh my gosh, him, Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Delbert Blair, that's my trio. That's my trio. So, yeah, you can donate to the Bobby Hemmett Love Fund. It doesn't matter how much you donate. You can donate 50 cents. You can donate $500. It does $1,000. It doesn't matter. You can donate, and you can donate at youcaring.com. youcaring, caring.com. And Yeah. So let me go to my references. I got all this information from houseofnubian.com, therealblackatheist.com, thehistorychannel.org, afrostyling.com, Wikipedia, harvestinstitute.org, blackhistoryfactorfiction.com, drumarjohnson.com, themedicenter2.com, black DVDs for you, number 4, letter U.com, cometaphysics.com, houseofsaphira.com, that's SIPHIRA, houseofsaphira.com, YouTube, and Google. So that is my top 20 countdown of today's black leaders. And I've never done this before, but I'm going to be coming out with a lot of videos that will be, informing people on different things. So you can subscribe. I said it. Subscribe, rate, and comment. Thanks, and have a wonderful day. Bye.